Stand fire, guys. Josh, you good, mate? Phil?
Look very deep in thought, Coach, about that.
I think it will be for some time, to be honest, Phil. It's obviously really disappointing, but not just the result of performance. So some soul searching needs to be done, both individually and collectively, because that's not at the standard that it's way off the standard that we need to be hitting.
The old adage, the buck stops with you. Is that fair enough to say that, like you just said?
Absolutely, I'm responsible for the results and the performances of this team, and I've never for 1 second shied away from them.
How bad was that then, in your opinion, to say things like that?
Say things like,
The performance level that you've mentioned. And
sorry, please clarify. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just that you said the level of performance. It's not a Saints performance.
Well, for the second week in a row, we started a game really sloppy in a big game. Coughed up cheap possession. We can't keep talking about that. We've got to fix it up. We've done so much great work throughout the course of pre-season, the early rounds, and tried to implement things to improve our attack. But if you're going to get the opportunity to attack, you need to A, keep hold of the ball, and B, turn up with a defensive attitude and a resilience to want to earn the right to play. And we did neither of those tonight, and it needs to be better.
All over the park, everybody has to take the full responsibility. I'm saying like Mark Percival, for example, so you can see he ran his guts out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. Morgan Knowles was another. Matty Leach through the middle. They're giving everything, but also at times and because they've put so much into the game, there's frustration, and you can see the frustration that things aren't working. And we have a tendency as a team, and it's something that we need to eradicate, is that when we are frustrated, we want to go and solve things on our own and do things individually, and nothing really ever good comes from it. So that's one improvement area for us. You solve things by doing things together as a team, but that's just one thing amongst a number of things that we're going to need to fix up.
Do you feel you handed that game to Warrington through your own lack of performance, lack of quality, lack of what you've just described?
Well, yeah, I don't want to obviously take away from Warrington, because obviously they've been disrupted themselves there today. They've obviously started the game without George, lost Mark Sneed, but in some way that gave them something really tangible to do. You get through your sets, kick the ball well and defend well. If we'd have done the same, regardless of personnel, then we'd have given ourselves a much better chance of winning the game. So yeah, in that respect, I thought we made the night far easier for them than it should have been.
Just one other thing, you did alternate people around. Mark started on the left, ended up on the right. Things were going wrong, things weren't working. You felt you had to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm here to do, is make decisions, and sometimes you make decisions on the fly. And obviously we had a youngish right edge out there today with George and Dayon and John on the wing, and Matty Whitley inside them. Obviously Warrington sends a lot of traffic their way, and we didn't quite nail a couple of plays early, which I think rocked the confidence. So I just thought putting Mark Percival over that side with his experience might help them.
Anyone else?
Defensively, they pick you apart with ease, really, on both sides.
Yeah, I thought our edge defence was again poor, but because people were coming out of our defensive system, and I can't for the life of me think why, because we shown last week and in numerous times that when we get up together and stay connected, we were a very difficult team to break down. But not only did we come out the line at different times when we didn't need to, but also we just missed simple basic one-on-ones, and at this level you just can't do it.
Having got yourself back in the end of the first half, the ease in which you conceded that try in the beginning of the second half must have sounded the alarm bells.
It was just so frustrating, because we'd done, we showed great character to get ourselves back in the game, particularly after having been so poor for the first 15 or so minutes, that we just obviously conceded again really softly after half time. And that you're quite right to say that's a worrying sign, because we'd spoken at half time around the importance of starting that half strongly, but I'm not so sure first of all as a collective, but certainly individuals within our team tonight, everybody came to play with the right amount of intent.
And with the ball, you've got 25 minutes to go when you're trailing by 6, and you're throwing the ball out on their line. Is that the right call? Is that the right call for you? You know, where Iggy knocks on, or would you rather be a bit more patient there?
A little bit more. I mean, for me, that's just simple catch and pass. We've got to make those plays. You know, we want to be a flamboyant attacking team, and part of that is not taking risks, but being prepared to move the ball around. So I'd certainly encourage us to do that. But you've got to make the play. At this level, you have to make the play. And you know, we never really put them under any sustained pressure. You know, the tries that we scored in the first half were off the back of us defending well, getting the ball back on the full and then attacking them. We scored 3 tries like that. The tries that they scored was us either making errors or giving penalties away and coughing up field position. Again, it's our responsibility to fix that.
You seemed to fold a little bit after the Bruce Murphy no try, and was there any, I know a couple of lads were disputing whether Mark Purcell had been pulled back, but you seemed to fold after that decision was an issue.
Yeah, and that's part and parcel of us improving as a team as well, is that you can't let the frustrate, because decisions are going to go against you, and you know, a couple went against us again there tonight. Like obviously we captained Challenge and Escort, which never in the memory of man is an Escort, but those decisions you just don't get sometimes, and you have to be better in terms of showing some resilience, showing some resolve, defending that set out, and then going back down the other end of the field and showing that little bit of patience. So you know, it's very easy to sit here and complain about decisions not going your way. But that's the easy way out. You know, we've got to focus on the hard way out, and that's very much looking at ourselves and how we're going to improve moving forward. And you know, that's everybody's responsibility.
Is this particularly responsibility for your team leaders to step up?
Absolutely. Leadership groups. You know, we have a leadership team for a reason, and it's not about status or hierarchy. It's about wanting to contribute to the performance of the team. So yeah, they have a huge responsibility. You know, after the poor performance tonight, along with myself and my staff, to forge a way forward, because we're much better than what we showed.
Well, before tonight's game started, obviously you're above Warrington. There's a lot of teams that are vying for the top 6, and you're one of them. Do you feel that you and your team are coming under? I mean, you're saying Helens to get that, but do you feel you're coming under probably unfair pressure and criticism from the outside? Because there's a load of teams that are off at this moment in time.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, one thing that I've kind of become accustomed to over the last 18 months is being under external pressure, should I say. But you know, that comes with the territory when you're the head coach of a club like this. So I'm comfortable with that. Now, one thing I have learned to do over the last 18 months is grow thick skin, because I know that a lot of people are going to be upset and disappointed. A lot of things are going to be said. I don't get caught up in that anymore. I get caught up in the performance of the team, the individuals within it, and how we can work hard to help them improve and help us all improve. But yeah, you're right what you say. There's a bit of inconsistency around the competition at the moment, and you know, we're certainly a part of that.
From your perspective, and it's been said tonight, you're not knocking the ball on, you're not making these bad calls. The call that you made tonight, which was to move Percival, paid off for you. Yeah. So should people judge you more on that during the game, other than the knock-ons and what we see on the field?
Potentially, but I can't tell every individual in the world of rugby league how to judge me. I'll judge myself first and foremost. That's what I always do. And you know, if people have got things to say, they've got things to say. I don't get caught up in it. It's about us assessing performance and trying our damnedest to improve performance, and you know, I care implicitly about this club and this team, and us being successful. And I'll continue to work as hard as I possibly can to make sure that happens.
All the best.
Thank you.
Josh, you got a question?
Yeah, so just quickly, we saw him warming up as 18th man. How is Johnny Lomax taking the decision in the last few weeks not to play?
He's disappointed, and probably even more disappointed having watched that performance, thinking I could have helped tonight. But at the same time, you know, George Whitby got an opportunity against Wakefield, took it really well, did really well in the Derby game last week. And again, we certainly don't come away from the game tonight thinking George Whitby's the reason we lost that game or shit points, far from it. So, at this club, I have to be obviously winning games in the here and now, but we also need to develop players for the future. And, the George has had the opportunity because first and foremost he's earned them, but also we believe he's going to be a halfback for this team for many years to come. I love the fact that Johnny Lomax is disappointed he's not playing. That's a great sign that a 34-year-old seasoned pro who's achieved what he's achieved in the game still has the appetite to want to be out there and want to help his teammates.
Gaz, did you have one?
Paul, you said before that you weren't so sure that everybody came to play with the right amount of intent. Is that perhaps the most damning thing you could say about the players, really?
Quite possibly. I mean, I know if I was on the field, I would hate to be questioned on whether I came to give my best, and I can't honestly say to the such a player did and such a player didn't. Only they can answer that question. But what is important is that we're a collective. Me and my staff are working hard every day, every week to try and give the players the best possible chance of winning games. And then off the back of that, I'd like to think the players are doing exactly the same. We'll certainly look at where we can get better. The players need to do the same, and we've got a couple of days now where we can really think a lot deeper around how we want the rest of 2025 to look for this club.
I was going to say that those sort of questions and things you can get answered in the review and the meetings during the week after the game when you review the game.
Yeah, well, it's been a tough run of fixtures for us, and I expected so much more from us tonight. But off the back of a tough run of fixtures, I purposely, and we'll always plan with it being a Thursday night game, is to give the players a few days off. Now, I'm not the type of coach to deviate away from that based on emotion and based on the fact that we've lost the game. But what I do need the players to do, and my staff, is to go away and take those couple of days to have a think about, as I've just said, what they want the rest of this year to look like.
Okay, we'll call it that, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.